We're who you should be listening to, admit it. The prettiest Tiff in Carolina, get it? Love, family, and friends. This be the energy, a better understanding so we can all be complete. Each time spitting raw and unrehearsed. Either in your feelings or laughing till it hurts. Love and Flaws, the show that you all need. Join us every week for the best of us, guaranteed.
Here we go.
For the best of us, guaranteed. It's the Love and Flaws podcast with the prettiest Tiff and your boy Carolina Sen. Welcome everybody. We're so glad y'all here with us today. We're gonna be I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna try and be cool this time because we talking about some good stuff today. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide the ball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're gonna.
Now I gotta give me some glasses.
Yeah, we're gonna. I previously thought this would be obnoxious to do. I'm gonna be obnoxious in today. So
listen, do it. This subject is a little obnoxious.
Ooh, I'm ready for it. So again, welcome to everybody that's been tuning in, checking us out. We appreciate every single one of y'all. Thank y'all for real. So this week we jumping into it. We're gonna just talk about, as you see, the title of this episode is called Sexpectations. Since sex is such a big deal to a lot of people. I'm not gonna say maybe most people, but sex is a big deal. Sex is a big deal in relationships. Sex is a big deal in marriage. Now, I understand a lot of people like sex isn't everything. Sex isn't the only thing. And there's people, maybe sex doesn't mean a lot to. But for the majority of folks, sex is a big deal. And it causes a lot of good things in a relationship. And then there's times where sex can be the root of tons of arguments or even divorce.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not necessarily just talking about cheating sex and things like
Right.
that, but so we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about sex expectations in relationships, and then we'll take it to the next level about what sex expectations are in marriages, or if marriage is not your thing, like whatever the next level of committed relationship is for those folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this was Tiff's idea. Well, I had sent a meme,
Right.
but I sent a thing, and Tiff was like, "Oh, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it." So
yes.
we're gonna talk. It was a podcast type show, and a man was saying that men should not have sexpectations. I think he was talking about in marriage of their wife, but we're going to talk about we know not everybody's married, so we're going to talk about relationships too. But there shouldn't be a sexpectation that men place on their women.
Yeah.
So
being in a relationship.
I'm just going to say partner on a partner, however, but generally it's the men with the expectations. So and there was the other man was like, "Yo, if you don't like sex, homie, just say you don't like sex.
You don't want it, just say it.
Right, that's you."
Right. Like, no.
I'm gonna go ahead and let Tiff take the. So Tiff, in a dating relationship,
okay,
how important do you think sex plays a role, and what should be the expectation for the man and the woman in a relationship?
I mean, I think dating, you're getting to know each other, so there shouldn't be but so much expectation.
Okay.
I because you're in that phase where you're dating, you're getting to know each other. You know what I mean? So to put a time on it or when it should happen.
There's no hard fact. Okay, it's the second date or it's the third date.
Right. I don't think it should be like that, because most, hopefully, like, people watching this, we're grown. If you want to do it on the first day,
yeah, ladies, if you want to do it on the first date, by all means, be comfortable.
If you want to wait a week, 3 months,
right.
Now people have to understand, to say no expectations should exist to me is just silly. You know what I mean? But we should all have, if you're bringing someone into your life, you have a right to expect that they're going to bring something into your life positive.
Okay, but I didn't know where you was going with it. I was like, oh, you about to use some strong language if you're talking about you have an expectation or like of sex or right to sex or whatever.
Well, no, I mean, I feel like if a man says, listen, if I'm going to be dating you, courting you, we're going out, I'm not saying I got to get it on the first night, but I'm going to, I want to have sex with you, right? The flip side of that is someone has a right to say that. Someone has the right to say that is what is important to them. And we shouldn't bash somebody and be like, oh my God, he's terrible, a terrible human being because he expects to have sex. Why? That's what he wants.
I agree with you 100%. I think that we put a stigma on it, justifiably so. There's some just douchebag type guys out there that are like, if you ain't fucking, get on. If you ain't having sex, move on, right?
Then we ain't going right. Or if I take you out to dinner,
I done spent $32 on this lobster tail. You about to,
right? You gonna give me something? That's silly.
So there's a reason for some of it. I agree with you. I don't think that we should villainize guys because they want to have sex.
Right. That's their nature.
Right. I tell people all the time, like, yeah, we want to have sex with you, but that ain't the only thing we want.
Right.
There are men that is the only thing they're after.
Yes.
And they have created this environment of, I need to be a certain way because I think that most men are just only after sex.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I do agree. I think I think what we lack a lot of times is communication.
Yeah.
We have come to a point where I'd like to think that hopefully we do more expressing ourselves, where it wasn't something that was talked about before when you went out on, like, you didn't talk about, how soon do you get physical or things. I think now that is a common type of thing.
Yeah, that's a common conversation that you're gonna have early on,
right,
when you're dating somebody.
I think it's naive for somebody to believe that he don't want to have sex with you.
Right. We talked about that. and if your friends want to have sex with you, possibly,
you know the one dating you, trying to be with you,
wants to have sex, right?
It's the clown behavior that is the issue.
Right.
You know, if I'm moody because we went out and I walked you to your door and you just gave me a little pet, all I got was
a kiss,
right? And you went on. I'm throwing a temper tantrum on the way back to the car. Damn, I spent all this money.
You blocking me.
I wasted all this time. Clown behavior.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't. I think what happens is the levels of expectations are different. Men probably expect it sooner than the women are expecting to give.
Yeah.
And that's where we have the misbalance. And so you hopefully with proper communication, you're closer.
You're aligning yourself.
You're aligning closer.
Yeah.
What typically happens is there's no communication, and the man's expectation is here, and the chick's expectation is here, and then it's a crash. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's it. I really feel
and me as a woman dating a guy, I want to know that he wants me sexually.
Right.
Like, I want to know that this person is attracted to me and wants to, because for me as a woman, if a man is dating like, oh, you're cool, Tiff, you know what I mean? You good, but listen, I'm not going no further in a relationship with you.
I don't talk to people I'm not attracted to.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So and it might not even be a physical attraction. He may sit down at the table like, yo, she bad, but then when we get to talking, maybe our energies don't match, or or maybe, his lingo is different than mine, or our backgrounds are just so totally different that we don't see, you know what I'm saying? At that point, if I know that he's not into me, now some women will be like, well, I'll just keep him as a friend and string him along or see what I can get out of him. Or see, I'm done.
That's clown behavior on the other side, right?
It is.
So, you're right though, because I've experienced this recently. Somebody that I thought maybe I would be into, after more and more talking and everything, I was like, okay, I don't think that it wasn't what I thought it was.
Right. I'm not feeling that person like
Not
I
on
thought
that.
I was.
Not on that level, at least.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and again, like we talked about before, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's just okay to not like people, or to change your feelings about people too.
Yeah.
Whether it's to change it, because I've been around people where I didn't look at them like that initially. Right. You get to know them, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I want to sleep with you now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just an epiphany with Tiffany. You know what I'm saying? It's just things that make you go,
And on the flip side of that, it's okay for someone to expect sex. It's okay for someone to. If you think about women,
my flip side was going to be, it's okay to, like, now you went from I thought I was feeling you to now I'm not feeling you, but I'm okay with the lesson. We got a lot of stuff going on because men have been shitty for so long.
Yeah.
Like, when you talk about the Me Too movement, you talk about feminism, a lot of these things should not have had to have spotlight shed on them.
Yeah.
If it won't for dudes being
clowns.
Right. Clown behavior. We're gonna have to make a Love and Flaws clown t-shirt.
Clown behavior.
Don't be a clown. Don't be a clown. You know what I'm saying? But so a lot of this stuff has arisen out of historically horrible way men have treated women for all time, right? Yeah. So now, listen, and I'm not trying to speak for women or speak on behalf, but you could tell me if I'm right or wrong. So I don't think that women didn't think that men were expected sex. It's just now that there's more empowerment and we need to respect women, and now women are expecting that respect, whereas before, right, wrong, or indifferent, it was almost like a class system, right? The man was the man, women do whatever, So as we've gone through the process and feminism and just speaking power into women and women being stronger and stuff like that, now men can't just talk to women any kind of way, or just can't just expect sex on demand and things like that. So now I don't think that women were not aware that men wanted sex.
Right.
The pressure, even though it's still there, like, women have to deal with a ton of shit that they shouldn't have to deal with. But they're taking some of that power back, right? Like, just because you expect it don't mean it's gonna happen. Whereas before, if there was so much pressure on it, which was foul as shit. But so now I think, like, because you have the things like, what is it, like, make them wait 90 days, and you see all these different. A lot of that is like motivational speakers just taking advantage of people trying to sell books and stuff. But they come up with all these systems, make them wait until the 5th date, or until he has said these words, or whatever,
or until he calls you this, or
right. I think that people should do whatever they want to do, right? Like, I don't believe in slut shaming people. If you want to sleep with somebody that you just met at a bar, you a grown person. If that is your decision,
then you have every right to do it.
You have every right to do whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah.
But for people who want to find an established connection first, I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
Yeah.
But
And truth be told, everyone may not be in a position where they want to be in a long-term relationship, but I mean, people have needs and
right,
wants, and as long
right,
as they're, you know,
consenting
doing
adults,
right, and as long as they're not hurting anybody,
right. Like I said,
right,
those are the key: consent and not doing harm to anybody.
right. So is I mean, outside of that, I don't bother me not one bit, and I think as women, we hit our peak of sexpectation probably
The
in our late 30s,
the
early
roles get
40s.
reversed. The roles get reversed.
It gets very reversed.
I didn't believe it was gonna happen. I didn't. They would tell me, like, we would talk about that. Like, women hit their sexual peak mid-30s, early 40s. Men hit it at 17, 18. And it was like, there's a time women want to have sex and their husbands don't want to. I was like, there ain't no way. Ain't no way. Not possible. I don't believe it. Not gonna happen. But I know let me be delicate here because I don't want to insinuate who anybody is.
Right.
I know it happens. I know people who their husbands, and they're like, it's not on their forefront of their mind,
Right.
and their wives are now the aggressors when it comes to wanting to have sex.
Right. And have you ever heard of the saying, as men get older, that like there's all these memes out there, but I can't remember. I think I may have saw it on TikTok, but it was a meme, I believe, on TikTok, and it was saying like men want to settle down after they all worn out, right?
Right.
Can't do for themselves, and they want a woman because they want a woman to take care of them. But you weren't thinking about that when you was 21 to 28 out here hitting everything that you could.
That wasn't me though. I don't know that life. I know
what I'm saying? So
I wasn't out here batting them down like that. I was wild.
Where women at that age, even, you know, we're thinking about our future. I want to get married. I want to be a mom. You know, most, not all.
Commitment.
Right, commitment. You know, if you go off to college, the next level, marriage and baby and courage.
Y'all
and
planning
all that.
the weddings.
I want a wedding.
And we out here running the streets.
Exactly. But then
the roles
women,
reverse.
we get to a place where if we're single, 30, like I got an itch too, and my itch needs to be scratched.
I've always I'll be like, women love sex just as much as dudes. We just go about it differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So now I want to transition over into the marriage side because I got some takes on this that are not gonna probably be popular with our women viewers.
Oh.
Well, let me ask you first. What you think the expectation is in marriage? Now, once you've actually, or whatever next level commitment, high commitment thing is for
living together.
Right. What do you think that is there a higher expectation?
Absolutely. And there should be.
Okay.
Listen,
so you wanted
if I was a man,
right,
and I'm marrying you, you're my wife.
Start telling it, Tiff.
You think I'm not supposed to expect that you give me sex?
Tell it.
What? Like, that's not the only thing, but why wouldn't I want to please my husband?
Right.
Like that's just silly. And then women use sex as a weapon.
All the time.
Oh, my husband ain't doing that, so I'm not giving him none. Okay. Well, he's gonna have a side chick. Okay. I'm telling you. The side chick is coming.
And it be used because I'm glad you brought it up. It segue it. The positive thing I'm gonna go ahead and throw out there. I feel like while there is a sex expectation in marriage, the man still needs to be doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if y'all's role are that he needs to be the provider or fix things around the house, do whatever y'all have established that is working for y'all, he got to be carrying his part too.
Yeah.
But I do think, like you said, like there's something to it about keeping them happy and you said it gets weaponized, right?
It does.
It'd be like, hey, you know, if you put them new countertops in, I'll do that thing you like this weekend. You know?
Right.
So now I'm gonna get to what my thing, and I've said this for years, and people will look at me and be like, Sen, because you know I'm a good guy. I talk about it all the time. I'm gonna say it again. I'm different, right? I'm a good guy.
Yes,
This next statement, I firmly believe. Marriage, in a lot of cases, I'm not gonna say in every case.
Okay.
But marriage, in a lot of cases, is legalized prostitution.
Oh, absolutely. Listen,
okay.
I know this because I have 2 brothers.
Right. Now, saying that, people are, Sen. Now, hear me out, though. Hear me out. I was gonna say something, but that was gonna sound. I was gonna say you can love your prostitute, but I don't want it. That sound might be pushing it a little.
Love with a prostitute.
Right, might be pushing it a little too far with that. But hear me out, though. There's an expectation from the man as well, in most cases, to be the provider, right? So I say prostitution. It catches people's attention and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But the exchange, there's a value of exchange for that ass. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm buying you a house. I'm paying for the cars. I'm taking care.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I bought you a ring.
Right.
We had this big elaborate wedding. All of your friends and family got to see how beautiful you were.
Tell it.
You know what I'm saying? We catered.
And you know why I did all that? You know why I did all that?
Because at the end of the night,
I want to have your ankles on my shoulders.
The best sex.
Yes, I want them ankles up here by my ears. You know, about to turn this into origami session. We bending them up.
Pilates has been working.
Folded. Now, having said all that, that doesn't mean, what do I say, Tiff, all the time? Multiple things can be true
at the same time.
It doesn't mean that I don't love you.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I don't want the best for us or for you.
Right.
That I don't care.
Right.
But the point, we don't, we talk about saying things that that people don't want to hear, but it's real, like what Corey Holcomb said about kid. Listen, I did not see you across from the bar and think, man, we could have a wonderful
wash
life.
My dishes.
Right, we could have a wonderful life together. I imagine what kind of apron I could be wearing while I'm out there grilling on Sunday.
Right.
We've invited the folks from the neighborhood. It's not the fuck I'm thinking. That ain't what I'm thinking.
I'm not thinking about how nice the house is gonna look on holidays.
No. And now people are like, yeah, but that's dating. But once you get married, shut up. Hear me out. When I'm like, yo, again, multiple things can be true. So when I'm like, yo, I love this girl, and I've made the decision, I want to spend it, like, I'm like, yo, what do I need to do to keep that person as the person that I put her ankles up behind my ears?
Because listen, I had a conversation with my daughter, and just ride with me, y'all, because growing up so much as the youngest and the only girl, and my mother had been hurt and been through things, and so men were always, not always, but all men want is da-da-da-da-da. But the way she would give it to me was like that made them a terrible person. No, it doesn't. That's their nature. And I had to have that talk with my daughter. Like,
listen, I was just gonna say, and now I'm gonna come back around to the part where ladies are gonna be like, okay, Sen, I'm feeling you now, right? So, and I've told my daughter this, your daughter need to hear it. Listen, we talk about knowing your value, right? it's not a bad thing. You need to have an expectation of your spouse, right? Because we've talked about it on several shows. Sex is a priority for men. That's a need that is bigger. You know, you draw the circle and it's like, what do these needs? Like,
the pie chart.
The pie chart. Sex is up in this motherfucking conglomerate.
Sex is 82.3%.
And even if it's not, it's high. It's 40-50% on every motherfucker's chart.
It's way more than that.
At least I'm just saying, they some dudes that, for whatever reason,
if you don't want no butt, just say so.
It's not as big of the pie. But you're right. Most dudes, it's a good 75%. You know what I'm saying? For women, it's not that. It's usually, it can be for women, right? Again, we don't ever speak in absolute. For women on the pie chart, it might be 20-25% of what's important. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to look at the things that are important to you. And if you're given, it's a need exchange. So when I say prostitution, people are like, oh, I say that for shock value. But it's a value exchange that you should be getting from your person.
Exactly.
Sex is a bigger value in the guy's mind. Right. Protection or comfortability or whatever is a bigger piece of the pie in the women's mind. So you should expect. So I tell my daughter, your daughter, listen, know your value, add tax to that motherfucker and double it. You know what I'm saying?
Triple that mug.
Triple that motherfucker and set that expectation for these assholes that want to court you and want to take you out. I don't have a problem. Like, I think there's a thin line between wanting somebody that can provide for you and being a gold digger, right? There are some folks that are just like, nah, I don't care. He could be the most horrible person in the world, but he got money. That happened. But outside of those exceptions that we know happen, I don't have a problem with women being like, you don't make $100,000 a year, you're not in my tax bracket.
Right.
That's them knowing what they want. Are all of them realistic with that? Like, it's hard to be. We've talked about that. You know what I'm saying? If you not providing what $100,000 and more a man needs, maybe you need to.
That's considered a high value man.
Right. Maybe you need to open up your dating pool, right? Or not. Shoot for the stars. Again, know your value, women. Add tax to that motherfucker and double, triple that shit. Right. Make motherfuckers earn you. Yeah. I don't think there's a problem with that. So, like I said, I say the word prostitution and it comes off as shock value. Yeah. But I want women to know they value. Y'all make the world, I've said other things, but y'all make the world go round. Right. We have literally fought wars over y'all. Right. Y'all are powerful.
And I think that's the thing is, and you saying it's powerful. See, I wasn't taught how powerful it is when I was younger. Now, my mother instilled her, but I never realized, this is what, like, I'm walking around with this.
Yes. Now,
why didn't nobody tell me this at 25?
Right. Again, women can exhibit or can display clown behavior too. We gotta take gun control classes for a reason. You know what I'm saying? We gotta know how to properly use it. You know what I mean? Because there's clowns out here misfiring, hurting people with. So sex can be a weapon, right? Yeah. Or it could be a powerful tool. I'm not mad at it. I do know that men place a higher value on sex typically than women do. Yeah, and
again, it depends on the age group. Because for me as a woman now, and being in touch, and I used to have my mind, when you turn 40, everything's gonna change. I'm like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Right. Because I need intimacy in the form of sex. Right. A lot more than what I did 10 years ago.
But even then,
if I'm with a partner who can't keep up, right, I can't be with you.
Okay.
I can't be with you.
It's like we talk about the drive, the reversal of the drive and stuff like that.
Because
So,
I can work, I can take care of myself.
right.
I've been doing it for the last, you understand what I'm saying? I can provide the lifestyle that I'm comfortable. Can I always reach the start? Yes. But I'm comfortable. I've worked hard to be able to provide a life for me and my so I really don't need you for that.
Right.
The one thing I can't do.
So again, though, right? So now the value of yours is even higher now.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're not needing it like you was talking about, or you need it in a different way.
Right.
So the motherfucker that approaches you need to understand he getting taxed at this point. You know what I'm saying? And it don't have to be. I was gonna say real quick.
If he gets his payoff and his payoff
right
is boo-boo,
right,
I'm gonna be mad as hell.
Right.
Now, I don't have that issue right now. But if I did, it's gonna be a problem.
Right.
Because sex is important to me at this time. It is important. I have an expectation of sex, and you won't be able to throw it down the way
But I'm gonna tell you this though, like even for as important as it is to you, it's still probably a bigger piece of the pie for men.
Even in our age bracket?
Even at that age. Like we still not, I'm telling you. So God, thank God, knock on wood. I'm not in that phase yet where I'm just like,
if I get it.
I'm in the transition phase where I'm like, I want it to be more of an intimate experience.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever just been a casual sex kind of dude anyways. But like I do crave intimacy more now. But sex is important. Like I'm trying to have sex as much as possible. Like
intimacy, we got a 15-minute time.
I've been 3 years, like we talk about, I've been 3 years celibate. You know what I mean? So
I don't think I could do it.
I don't.
Not in this stage.
So it's, so like the last year and a half of that toxic relationship, we didn't have sex. And it wasn't the age thing. It was because I wasn't attracted. Like I didn't fit, the person had drained so much out of me. Like I didn't look at them and think of it that way. Right. So we just became more like friends or whatever. So then it's been a couple years since I've been in that relationship. And I ain't the first year or so, year and a half, like it's what led to, I was trying to heal.
Yeah.
But I was going down a dark road. It led to the heart issue with everything, all of that, right? So this past 8 months, I've lost the 85 pounds. I'm getting better. I'm feeling. So now I'm just now getting to the point where I'm like, damn, I've been out of that relationship long enough. I feel like I've healed some of those scars. Like I feel like I'm ready to start. But when you add up the time frame, it hit 3 years. And it ain't like I planned on it. I'm not going to sit up and be like, it's been 3 years because I'm that strong. That wasn't what it was.
It was just so many other
circumstances.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think now, in fairness, I could have went out and I had it thrown at me at different times.
Right.
I've been presented with opportunities.
Right.
But that wasn't my focus, right? So maybe I'm good in that aspect of it because I could have did it just for the sake of doing it.
Right.
But again, I'm not built that way.
Yeah.
So you talking about now, so that adds, we did the thing about trusting people with side pieces and shit like that.
Yeah.
That just adds now to the pressure when I'm trying to meet somebody. Cause I'm like, yo, this about to be the next person I get intimate with. You know what I'm saying? So like,
and she don't have no idea.
Boy.
But see, that's what I'm saying. But then if you were to lead, which like you said, you're not that type of dude, but if you were to lead with that, the only thing that woman be thinking like, oh my God, he's leading with, but she's not even thinking, well, what has he been doing for the past couple of years? Or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't think it makes men bad, and I think women, we gotta stop doing that to them. We gotta stop saying, "Oh, because you know what I'm saying, want sex that makes you a bad person." But like you said, the value of you as a woman when that happens goes up automatically.
Right, because I have a friend that I've known for years that is promiscuous, right?
Okay.
And she entitled to be that. Like, she's more power to her. She's grown. She's an adult. She can do whatever she wants to do. But I have at times been like, for all that cat, you give it away.
What do you have to show for it?
That you ain't expecting nothing in return. Like, it sounds bad for me to say. I'm like, not under the, like, can't get a phone bill paid, or like,
right. Can
like
groceries in your house? Does she get that?
And that ain't the goal, right? Like, but still, I feel like you didn't value it enough.
Right.
You're entitled to, right? Like, you're entitled to have sex with people and not have any expectation out of it.
Yeah,
I just know how valuable, how amazing. I just understand, you know what I mean? So,
and I wish I would have understood that. Let me tell you, if I understood that when I was a lot younger,
right,
there's a whole lot of things that would have been different in regard to choices that I made.
Oh yeah, and I think if I'm not blaming women for this at all.
Yeah.
But I think if every woman stood up and did that, dudes would have no choice but to come correct.
That's facts.
It's not y'all's fault at all that we're assholes and douches and all that. But if y'all was like if we knew, so here's the thing, we know a new video, we know the PS6 or 7 is getting ready to come out. We know we got to go stand in line 2 days ahead of time. We know we got to get our bank account in order, get this bitch about to be $800. We do all of this because we know that's what we got to do,
right,
in order to get this thing that we value.
Right.
So not trying to objectify women, but if y'all all held, again, it's not y'all's fault. I'm just trying to,
no, come on, you're speaking facts.
Y'all could fix it. Y'all could be like, nah, we the shit. The same type of going out of your way to do everything you need to get your life in order to get that PS8.
Or
y'all need to do that shit with us.
Yeah.
But y'all out here giving it to these fucking bums and clowns, fighting to stay in their life. Like, y'all are more valuable than that shit.
Exactly. And on top of that, there are so many other things that we bring to the table. But if we know, it's just like if you know what is it? Like, okay, we knew that Superman's what's the name was kryptonite, right?
Right. His thing that could damage him or whatever.
Right. We know that's men's motivation.
Right. That's why I said use the shit.
Why not?
I think
and don't feel bad about it.
Two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
For y'all too. Y'all can be like, my pussy is the shit. I'm gonna get what I want with it, but I still like this motherfucker.
And I'm still gonna take care of his home.
I'm still gonna cook him breakfast and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he act right, I'm gonna give him some, but I still would like to spend the rest of my life with him.
Exactly.
Multiple things can be true at the same time.
Absolutely. We gotta put that on a shirt.
Right. We gotta get out of this tunnel.
We gotta put that on a shirt. So don't nobody go, because that's like, you are absolutely right. And that's why I love it. Because again, I go back to, I'm a Libra, and that's what I do. I can see this side of the coin and I can see that side of the coin. And
like you said, we villainize or demonize things without understanding that multiple things can be true.
Right. Exactly. It's like it has to be.
Oh, that's just the only reason they did it. That's the only reason I put these counters in is because I
love you.
Right.
And I want you to be happy with how the house looks.
Right. I do want that. But I'd like to see that anklet bracelet that I got you right about here.
Two Mother's Days ago.
Right. I need to see if I need to put a charm on that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, we will get you right. And I still love you and want the house to be nice.
Right.
Multiple things can be true at the same time.
Right. I think though the issue is, like you said, when people only perceive one thing to be right.
That's where we've gotten in society. We don't look
Yeah.
at, I'm about to take it off, but yo, we give it to y'all real. In all of the things that divide us, we don't look at it that way, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that the media uses to divide us right now is police brutality against Black people, right?
Mm.
And I tell people this all the time. You can be a supporter of Leo's and be against police brutality at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be one or the other, but that's what we decide. You've got people. I had a friend of mine. I don't want to. You know how sometimes you have what you call close or dear friends that you worked with. You don't really know them outside of work, but you developed a good bond while y'all work together, right? I had one of them, and he posted something, and he was like, "I usually side with," and I'm not going to say who it was, whether it was the cop or the civilian,
right?
And I was like, "Why do you usually side with either one of them? Why do you not look at each individual situation
for what it is
and say, in this situation, this one was right, or in this situation, this one was right?" To just be like, and people do that. They're like, I always usually side with cops, but he was wrong this time. Or I usually am with citizens, but I don't think the cop did anything wrong. You shouldn't be. You should be. I'm with right or wrong.
Right.
Multiple things can be true at the same time. And we got to be, and we're in a point where it's so divisive, where we're like, you need to believe this, and that's the only thing you can believe.
Yeah.
Well, we can't get to an understanding if that's the
point. We'll never. And on anything.
And so bringing it back to what we're talking about with men and women, if you think they only want sex, or you think she only wants money, that's where we're battling. And I'm gonna treat you like shit because you only want money, so I'm gonna slut you out or whatever.
Because you're a gold, right?
Or I'm gonna treat you, I'm gonna drag you along, whatever, because I know you only want sex. Listen, they both can be true. Yeah. She wants to feel financially secure and taken care of, but that don't mean she don't like you.
Right.
And yes, he wants to blow your back out. That don't mean he ain't gonna put them countertops in for you, baby.
Right. And that don't mean he's not gonna put a ring on it.
Right.
Because most women, the end goal is to be married. Most women. And
most men know that is y'all's end goal, so
that is
do it.
Right. So,
because we want.
And why do they? If they see you as a catch, right? They're gonna put their best foot forward, so that you're the one that they marry, and you're.
It's sexual attraction first, and then it's like, oh, not only do I like having sex with this one, she does all this other shit dope too.
Right.
Whereas with women, it's not usually sexual attraction first. It's like, oh, he does all this other stuff dope, I might give him some.
Right. No matter how bad it may be. No matter how bad.
Prostitution.
Right. No matter how bad, but he bought me that car I wanted. So.
Yo, he's a good dad. He takes care of the house. I don't worry about nothing.
Nothing. So
he'll knock somebody out if they break in this motherfucker day. It's okay that he only lasts 2 minutes. You ever
seen the videos where they have the girls, like the guy will have like a really nice car?
Oh yeah, the gold digger ones.
Right.
And they like, can I get your name?
Huh?
Can I get your name? And they like, nah, I'm good. Right. I got a boyfriend.
No, but then they see him get into the Maserati.
Hey. No, I thought you had a boyfriend 2 minutes ago. They're out there. They exist. Listen.
But on the flip side of that, if she doesn't see what she perceives to be a high value man in those 3 minutes, right? And she rejects you, and then she sees something that, like, to me, I get it. Like, but again, I always look at both sides. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If a man sees me in a club, and I'm too old for clubs now, but if a man sees me in a club, the lights off, and the lights off, I look amazing.
As you do.
And thank you. And then the lights turn on, and he like, I can't get mad at that.
Right.
I can't get mad at that.
Right. Multiple things can be true at the same time. Just because just because now she's willing to give you a chance because she knows that you can provide for her doesn't mean that she's not gonna fall in love.
Love you and
right. And it goes the same way on the flip side for men, man. You know, like,
that's
oh,
perfect.
she's just this or that. Well, it don't mean you'll be like, or are women like, oh, he only wants me for sex. I mean, he does. He wants that, but it don't mean he doesn't want other stuff too.
And initially, when he saw you, that's what he was thinking.
Telling you, I'm not picking out.
It is
I'm
what
not
it
picking
is.
out. I'm not picking out paint palettes at the bar when I see you. Or it don't have to be the bar. People like, oh, you pick it. If I see you in the grocery store and I'm like, damn, I'm not like, oh, I bet she can make a mean casserole in this motherfucker today. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm thinking.
Bet you she can make a mean casserole.
That's not it.
It's not. And so what do you think about marriages where they're married and either or stops having sex? Not because of an illness or
so because there's marriages that fail over sex, right?
Yeah.
Whether one party wants it too much or the other party don't. I'm not talking about stepping outside of the marriage.
Right.
It's tough, right? Because part of the covenant, I don't want to say that. Let me not use that kind of language. But like part of the agreement and the commitment is that I'm only fucking with you and nobody else. But now if you're not fucking with me anymore,
what am I to do?
Aren't you kind of breaking the agreement? It sounds so bad to say it, but like.
But think about it.
Part of this commitment was I'm not gonna stick my dick in anybody else.
Right. So
because you're gonna allow me to do it with you, I don't need anybody else.
Right.
Now that you're telling me I can't, and it goes for women, like we said, because usually y'all sex drive increases and the men's decreases. Because women are like, well, if you're not giving it to me, you must be out smashing some other chicks. And the dudes are like, nah, I ain't up for it anymore, right? So the women, same for the women, because it sounds harsher with me saying it as a guy. But for women, you said, I'm not going to be hopping on nobody else's dick because me and you, till death do us part.
Yeah.
But now you're not giving that to me. Is that reason enough to leave?
Hell yeah.
Right. I'm glad you said it.
To the yeah. And I be damned if I'm gonna be married to somebody. Think about this. You get married in 2020. You're married. 3-4 years after the relationship, your wife decides she just don't want to have sex anymore. Now, how old were you in 2022 or 2020?
Like, yeah, you're talking about real life right now. Like
just an example, if you were married,
right? So
you got married in 2020.
So I'm 38 or whatever.
You're 38.
Right.
You're 38 now.
No, I'm 40. So I'm 42 now. So we go.
So you were 38 then.
So I'm 40. Right. So I'm 40.
Okay. 38. 3 years after y'all got married, right?
Right.
She's not going to do anymore. So 2020, 2023.
Right.
2023 to now, she's not giving it to you.
Right.
That's a long time.
Right. But
you're going to be married to somebody that
because we got to quit
30 years. You think I'm not supposed to have sex?
Right. We done got to the point where we're trying to tell people that sex doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
And that's not the case. And people are like, oh, well, then you're a piece of shit if you're going to leave somebody over them not wanting to have, because people leave in not just marriages, in regular relationships.
Right.
You're like, yo, again, it's sensitive, right? Because women are like, I shouldn't be forced to have sex with you. No, you shouldn't be forced.
Right.
But you should know that that's part of, like, if you are allowed to change your mind. You can say, hey, I don't want to have sex anymore until we get married, or what. You're allowed to do that. Right. But you know what else is allowed? That person is allowed to say, well, you know what? I changed my mind too then.
Which is why you're single until you're married.
Here you go. Here you go. This is why I'm gonna be single forever. Cause even my sisters over here talking about, I ain't till I get a ring. I'm not married. Commitment can come before marriage, though.
Well, yeah, it absolutely can.
It's got to be mutual. It's got to be mutual, though.
Yeah.
Like, because I hear the thing, men are like, or people will tell women, don't play the role of a wife until he makes you a wife or whatever.
I think that's the stupidest thing in the world, but.
Right. You know what I mean? So, like, people like, don't be committed if he ain't put a ring on it. Like Taraji was just saying, until I have a ring on it.
Right.
Come on. Like, people don't just marry people blind. I mean, I guess they do on TV and in other parts of the world, but like, you got to display, it works both ways. I got to display husband material too, though.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to be committed while we dating, I'm not seeing potential wife material.
Well, but when I say single, I don't mean single in the case of I could do whatever I want. I'm saying single in the situation where, like, technically I'm not stepping outside of the relationship.
What you mean technically?
Because I'm not married, so I'm not committing any type of like you said, is it a bad choice? Yeah.
So you telling me that if another guy come along and you go out with him and you make out with him or whatever, that ain't cheating? Just because you wasn't married?
It's not technically. It's not.
You're not cheat. You didn't cheat on your husband, but you cheated on the person you was in a committed relationship with.
Did cheating? And I need to look up the definition for cheating. I don't know.
So you think you can only cheat if you're married? That's what I'm hearing.
I think that the only form of cheating that should be taken to a level of not being together.
Tiff, you don't believe that shit at all.
No, I'm not saying, I'm telling you, like.
So I don't know if you're dating somebody now. I haven't gotten into that. You tell it, Tiff, this is bullshit. I'm calling you. This is bullshit. Tiff, I want to hear this bullshit. You tell me you start dating somebody and you find out he smashed somebody next weekend, it's not worth leaving? And y'all was only supposed to be with
No. I'm not saying that he's not worth leaving. What I'm saying is I can be upset with him for making that choice, making that decision.
Okay.
But what can I really hold him to?
That he no longer has access to you now.
Well, no, yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, can I be mad at that? Like, can I be like, oh my God,
why not?
You're a terrible. Like,
why? He violated your trust.
But that's not.
It's not important enough to get mad over it?
No, it is. But what I'm saying is not to like drag somebody for like, oh my God, you're like a serial cheater because they're single.
They're not. All right.
Okay, when you go to a job, right?
Okay.
And they ask, married, divorced, widowed, single.
You are
They don't
legally
say boyfriend,
right.
girlfriend.
You're legally single, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like you're legally.
But that only means anything on legal documents. It don't mean anything in real life. You're not really single. If you're in a committed relationship and the motherfucker cheats on you, that's a big deal.
I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I
So
think
every time I give you an example,
minimizing,
no,
or I
every
think
time
you feel like I'm minimizing. I'm not
yes,
saying that.
yes, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because every time I give you an example, you're like, "No, I'm not saying that," and then you say it. You know what I mean? Every time you're like, "No, I'm not saying that," and then you go, "Yeah, it's da da da." You know what I mean? And then I give you a different example. And you're like, no, I'm not saying that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because I feel like in the merge, you are making a commitment to be together forever. That is what merge is. I am forever gonna be with you. A committed relationship is not saying forever. We're doing good. We're in a space where we're together. We're living together. We're committed to each other. However,
things could change.
Things can change.
But at that point, you in a committed relationship, you decide to communicate to the person that things have changed before you do something with somebody else.
Okay, how many times and I don't know if you've ever done it, I know many men that have gone to their woman like, listen, I'm feeling different.
Okay.
Our relationship isn't, and they, oh my God, you ain't shit. You, because you just want to go be with somebody else or have sex with somebody else. Like, you can't.
I don't care how you react to it. I don't care whether the man or the woman gets mad because you change your mind.
Right.
But the difference is you communicated that to them.
What I wanted to say is, so let's say I'm feeling that way. Okay, exactly what you said. I'm feeling that way. Maybe we've talked about it a little bit. I end up going out one night. I end up having sex with somebody. I come back like, yo, this is over. I done had sex with somebody else. Like, it's done. It's over. Oh, you cheated on me and you went out and
you did.
But I changed my mind and I have a right to do that.
But you got it. The right to me. And again, I'm a little different. I'm way like the part that makes it that carries, in my opinion only, that carries the value and the respect is that you tell your partner before you do something. I get what you're saying. There's a lot of people that are checked out of the relationship before they actually say the words to each other.
Right.
I do get how that's a little different, right? But that's where we got to be better. We got to be men and we got to be women.
Right.
And if I'm out, because you don't do it, usually in those situations, it's not with that intention.
Right.
Because if you have the premeditated intention, then you should definitely have already said, hey, Tiff, this not working out.
Right.
Because you know you're about to go out and do something. Right. So usually it don't happen. Usually it's me and Tiff been beefing. Yo, you want to go out this weekend? Yeah, we go out. Boom, boom, boom. I met somebody. And I don't, because we've been beefing and I know it's ending, and I don't care. I'm about to do it. But we should still be men and women. And I don't even care. Like, to me, I know people are like, it's still the same shit. I don't care if you called me literally before you did it. It matters. It matters that you had enough respect for me. At some point in time, you cared about me. At some point in time, you loved me. It matters. I don't care if you called me from the bathroom and you knew you was about to leave to go home with this dude. And you was like, I just want to tell you that our relationship is over. I'm sorry. Even if you apologize now, like we've been going different. You had the courtesy and the respect, the value, even if I didn't deserve it, like, because some people are just assholes, men and women. Mm-hmm. But you had decency. It's a decent thing to do, right? To be like,
right. It's a decent thing to do, but is it? But exactly. So you're in a relationship with somebody. You don't know if it's gonna be forever. You don't know that.
Right, but is it
You
not the
don't know
decent?
it's forever until you're married to that person. So,
Okay.
and is it the best choice? Is it a decent thing to be like, yo? But to
You're
drag
doing it
somebody
again.
for that, I don't.
You realize you're doing it again, right? You're like, yeah, it's not decent, but
But it doesn't. What I'm saying is, it doesn't justify dragging somebody because they did that if you're single.
I
That's what
think
I'm
so.
saying.
I think so. I think
I
so.
don't.
I think at this point, you did not have the decency to let me know ahead of time. So now I can devalue you as a person, in my opinion. You not the same. You don't
So you
get the
devalue somebody because they don't handle the
hold on.
situation the way
You was
you
talking
did.
about dragging them. You do not get to hold the same value with me if you didn't show me that decency, regardless if our relationship was ending. You do not get that. You don't get to be like, I'm still this good person that you know. You just did some shitty shit to me. Like you're admitting that it's wrong. You just made a bad decision that hurt me.
Right.
So how do you get to still be on the same level after the fact?
Because I don't believe, just like you said, when you made earlier with the Ivy thing, does that make her a terrible person?
I'm not saying it makes her a terrible person, but she's not the same person.
But I'm not gonna drag. Well,
yeah, but
that's different.
You're not looking at her the same way. She does not have the same value. Whatever value, if her value was at 100% before that, it's not at 100 when after that. It may be 90. I'm not saying it got to drop down to 20. But
well, that's what I said. Someone shouldn't be drugged because of that.
I think that if you are the person that has been violated by that trust, you have the right to react however you want to react. You can't tell me. I can't tell you how to respond to something.
That's true.
If I violated your trust, everybody have different trust protection levels, right? Violating my trust is top tier. For other people, violating my trust is like, hey, I expect people to kind of be shitty. I'm just gonna move on. Everybody reacts differently, but you can't tell somebody. I can't be dating this chick for 2 years and she thinks we're gonna spend the rest of our lives together because I love you, and the last 3 months has been rocky. Right. And then I go out and smash somebody, and then I tell her like, yo, this is over, and she's like, well, what'd you do this weekend? That don't matter, It's been over for a long time. I'm telling you now that you had sex with somebody. I did. She has every right to react however she wants to. I mean, short of breaking the law, being criminal, you know what I'm saying? She has every right to be extremely upset. I'm not saying everybody else needs to dog me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can still be a good person to everybody else in my life. My daughter's not going to look at me and be, well, she might be like, Dad, that was shitty. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, people ain't going to be like, man, Sen a fucking dirtbag now. You know what I mean?
And I think
she has a right to feel that way. Because it's her trust that I violated. It's her feelings that I hurt.
She has a right to feel any way she feels.
Right.
But
so she
doesn't have a right. She doesn't have a right, or that person doesn't have a right to drag the fuck out of you.
Define drag. Define drag for me.
Going on social media and talking about you.
As long as she's not lying. As long as she's not lying.
See, let me tell you, and I'm be sure that you're saying that from a place of pain.
I am.
Right, and that's cool.
Because here's the thing.
Hold on. You're saying that from a place of pain. I'm saying it from a place of, why would I expect someone who I'm not in a merge with, and this is just me.
Okay.
To be 1,000% faithful when technically they are. And I'm not saying I'm giving them a cheating pass. What I'm saying is, if it comes to me, I'm going to be like, that's what I expected. And I'm not going to go crazy over it, because at the end of the day, you're single. Now, you made your choice.
So
now you're going to live without me.
I'm going to tell you something. I mean this, and I love you to death. I mean this, right? So, and this came up, we talked about this, right? About when I said somebody was hurt and they put it, So what you're saying is coming from a place of hurt. You've been hurt, so now you don't have that expectation of people.
And you might be right.
You know what I'm saying? And that hurts my heart, because we should be able, if we communicate to each other that we are going to be a certain way, that people be that way. Because here's the difference. Is it just because you take that oath in front of the pastor and God, they still not keeping their word? Then why do you that oath? And this is part of the sad part too. That oath doesn't increase my expectation of that person keeping their word. Now you're saying I don't have that expectation unless they've married me and taken that oath. That ain't that ceremony and them doing that in front of everybody.
It's the words "till death do us part."
It's the actions, though.
No, what I'm saying is that's what makes me look at it different, because it's if you're with a girl, if you're dating a girl and you and that girl together for 2 years and y'all say to each other, we are going to be together forever. Absolutely.
Why is there any more, in principle alone? Mm-hmm. Why is there any more value in me saying that to you versus me saying, listen, I will never cheat on you. I will give you the respect that if I want to do something else, I would let you know. Why is one word more powerful than the other? Your word should be your word, period.
Well, I mean, if you're having that conversation with someone, then yeah, you need to hold them accountable for what they're saying.
Right.
But we're talking about, and I think too, you're talking about a committed relationship for years and years and years and years and years. I mean, I'm talking about a relationship where you might got your own place, they got their own place, you're together. To me, there's different levels of things.
I get that. I understand. I'm not naive to the expectation of me saying I'm not going to cheat on you 3 weeks, somebody 3 weeks in. Like, my expectation of you holding truer to that word grows the longer we've been together and the more actions I've seen you display that show you are a person of your word. I'm not naive to that. I don't believe, and maybe it's just because I'm old, your word is supposed to be your word. If we've been dating for 9 months and we're spending all this time together, and just because we don't live together and we're not married, if you told me I'm the only person in your life that you're dealing with romantically,
right? But then time shouldn't matter. You're saying to me that marriage shouldn't change that, so time shouldn't change it either. Whether you're with somebody, if you believe that, then in 3 weeks that's what they should be.
Your attachment changes. You're right. Your word doesn't change. I'm still going to be mad that you lied to me if it's been 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Where the difference is my attachment has not grown like it would if it had been 9 months or 2 years or whatever.
Right. So but you still have an expectation that they not do that.
Yes, if you've told me that, yes, right. I have that expectation. The difference is if it's only been 2 weeks, and I've had that happen. If it's been 2 weeks, I'm not going to be mad about it 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I guess depending on how hard you fall for somebody. But typically, right? Like, if it's only been a month, this motherfucker wasn't worth it. Right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm still mad that you lied. I still expected you to I want you to hold true to your word. Yeah. My reaction is going to be different if it's a month versus a year.
And see, you know what? I think I let go easily nowadays. Like, I let go easily. Like, I'm going to give myself a day to cry.
You've been hurt.
And then I'm going to move on. So maybe for me, it's like, unless you're my husband.
There was a time you didn't do that, though. There was a time you didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you've been hurt. So now your defense mechanism is,
and it could
I'm not expecting that from people.
It could be, or I've learned how to not hurt myself in the process because somebody else wants to be an ass.
Listen, it's the same thing I dealt with the person that I talked about. It was like, all right, I wasn't hurt. I've just learned. Yeah, you learned through hurt.
Yeah.
You learn through the trial of being hurt.
Yeah.
You can dress it up and call it whatever you want. The psychology behind it is you was hurt and you decided to turn it into a teachable moment, and you learned from that. So yes, you have learned from a past experience.
Yeah.
But you were hurt in that moment.
Yeah. But and yeah, maybe it just is. I gotta go back to my therapist.
No, I'm not, and it's okay.
No. What I'm saying is because maybe I just didn't even realize that.
Know your value. Know your value.
Right.
Add tax to that motherfucker and multiply that. And multiply that. Part of that is set as that expectation from that motherfucker better be true.
Yeah.
That's adding value to you.
Yeah. And I don't get me wrong, I expect people to, if you tell me something, I'm gonna take it at face. Like I'm gonna
just not
take
surprised
your word.
with disappointment anymore.
But I'm not exactly.
And that's hurt. That's hurt. That's hurt, mama. And I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. Because we should be if it's somebody we genuinely care about, it should bother us when it happens.
Yeah.
I understand not being like there's things like I get it. I'm not naive to the way the world works.
Right.
I've learned not to be surprised at some of the crazy shit I see.
Right.
But when we stop feeling certain things because of our past hurt and lessons, that's fucked up.
Yeah, you get desensitized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly
maybe.
It. And damn, that sucks, don't it?
I mean, if you don't let it affect you, it don't.
In college, that's right. Y'all tough. I'm not even mad, right? Because I started to have this same conversation, but we couldn't get this deep with it. Yeah, I get it. Y'all there's a wall. That's a wall. When we talk about putting up walls, that's a fucking wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it don't mean that's bad.
Right.
Because in today's society, we have to have learned lessons.
Yeah.
We have to have, people are gonna be how people are.
Yeah.
I'm just so genuine with my fucking feelings and emotions about that shit.
And see, I'm a genuine person. I wear my heart on my
I'm not
sleeve.
saying you're not.
No. I'm saying so I feel you, but I think because I'm so genuine, the one thing I don't want to do is be disingenuous to myself, right?
Right.
So because I've gone through I don't want to change who Tiffany is at the core. Like I'm still gonna always lead with femininity. That's always gonna be my go-to because I'm secure in my femininity and I know what that brings. I'm always gonna have my family and friends back. You know what I'm saying? As much as so if a shitty family member, you understand what I'm saying, does me wrong, I'm not gonna turn my back on all my shitty or all my other family members,
right?
And assume that they're shitty. So I'm gonna still lead the way that I'm gonna lead, and then if it happens and someone's shitty, I'll be like, oh well, I expected it,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
It's because that's lessons learned,
right. So that's where I was trying to get to with it, you know what I mean? But you just brought a different side to it, so now we got to go back to the drawing board.
Well, I'm telling you, and that's why I be so vulnerable. I'll be out here wanting everybody to be fucking legit,
but everybody ain't.
They ain't. So that's why I'm like, I need to quit being the good guy.
Right, and you gotta stop expecting people are gonna be good.
I don't want to lose that faith in humanity, though.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a fucking dreamer, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't want to lose that. That hurts me so bad.
Well, for me, I haven't lost faith in humanity, but what I have done is the people that I have found that are good, I tend to keep them close.
As we should. We should hold on to them.
And I appreciate them.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up because we could talk about this forever. Like,
ever.
Hold your real ones close to you. Yeah. And for people who have genuine good intentions for you, man, don't push them away with this this wall bullshit. I'm emotional now. Like, I'm just like, oh, fucked up, man. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. That's I understand it. You know what I mean? I hate it with a passion.
Well, I think this subject we could probably, expand, do a part 2 to it.
Yeah.
and take it more out of the Sexpectations into
just people
expectations.
expectations.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do a follow-up on this one. But again, hey, this is the Love and Flaw. Look, we always give it to you real. These are unscripted. We go off the way it takes us, and that's where we went. I want everybody to know that I love this woman right here. Tiff is my sister.
Love you too. I love you too.
I absolutely adore you. I thank you for doing this with me. I thank everybody who checked us out. Again, this is Love and Flaws. It's the prettiest Tiff. I'm your boy, Carolina. Deuces.